This episode is going to be about tips on how to get a 7 in your English IO, be it at HL level or SL level. So, tip number 1, master the text and global issues. So, what this means is that you need to know your chosen text and the passages inside and out. You need to know the main key themes and the focus on them, the character developments, the symbolism, and also the writer stylistic choices as well as their intent to writing this. The reason is because it will help you be very clear on the global issue you're connecting to and also how each work reflects to different aspects of this particular issue. So you could do literary text and non-literary text, and you need to connect them at the very end. So it's really important to know, the symbolism and things that you can weave in order to make a connection. Number 2, structure and planning. Aim for a very clear and a very logical structure. So the best way to do this is start with a concise introduction which outlines your chosen global issue as well as a thesis for each of the texts. So this needs to be followed by detailed analysis and at the end with a very strong conclusion, so that you are kind of examining different aspects of the text, but you're also ensuring that there's a linkage, a very clear and concise linkage between both the texts. And make sure that you stick to a very focused plan for each part to avoid rushing or, just going over any points. The best way is to, when you're reading your non-literary text or your literary text, just make sure that you're making notes and kind of highlighting the point that you want to talk about, like a brainstorm per paragraph almost, just so you know what you're going to be including. Now, on to number 3, detailed analysis. So go far beyond the summary. Do not summarize. The IB will not give you points on summary. They will give you points on analysis. What this means is you need to focus on the analyzing aspects of how the author uses things like language, structure, and also literary devices to convey the particular global issue. This is what's going to give you points. You can say, for example, if you're doing it on the speeches of Greta Thunberg and your topical issue is climate change, you can say, in one of her speeches, or actually name the speech, so you can say Thunberg's speech at the UN in 2020. You can see her employ visual metaphors by painting an imagery based on XYZ factor. This is the best way to, include particular things like quotes and also close readings to show your understanding and to also show the author's intent and why they're, using this particular device or particular, technique or something. Now, on to 4, make connections between your text and your global issues. This is vital to score well because you need to be very explicit in linking the text to your global issue and then also demonstrating how they compare and or contrast. Because again, you have two types of text, literary and non-literary. So you need to make sure that you're kind of creating a clear picture on what is similar in them and why and how. You also need to highlight very unique perspectives from each text and explain why they're important to the issue. So again, if it's climate change, you can compare it with graffiti by Banksy, and you can say in one of his graffitis he's showing a particular text saying, "I don't believe in global warming," which is drowning and submerging in rising waters, which is kind of an allusion to the rising waters because of melting of glaciers, which is an actual thing that's happening in the climate of the current era. So that's something that you can kind of highlight, and then you can link it to Greta Thunberg's speech, and that in line 24 so she says this thing. So just be very careful with your linkages. Number 5, practice your delivery. So again, you have to speak the IO because it's an individual oral. So you have to speak very clearly at a steady pace and with confidence. So you should practice and make sure your analysis flows smoothly and it doesn't, prevent any nerves from affecting your performance. You need to be sure that you're writing words down and thinking of those words that you can also kind of pronounce and you won't stumble upon them and just sound natural. Now, timing yourself is very, very key and very important to ensure that you cover everything without rushing or running out of time. The best way is to, again, you're going to be speaking, so just make sure that you have points per topic that you're going to be talking about, so you have a good outline to, push yourself through the IO. And number 6, feedback and refinement. Do practice runs and mock IOs with your teachers or classmates for, just some constructive feedback to just ensure that you're focusing on areas for improvement, and also any need for fine-tuning for your points. Maybe some linkages that you're making is actually quite weak in analysis, so you can also ask your teacher that, oh, what do you think of this? And reviewing criteria can help you making sure that you're checking each box and that you're meeting each part, and this can help you refine your approach all the more. Now, last point, number 7, focus on your personal insight. Now, what this means is show a very original perspective in your analysis, so that it's more memorable and so that it gives you an edge over other particular samples that your examiner is going to be listening to. You know why? Because highlighting why you think these certain aspects are powerful or unique will definitely make your work stand out all the more. And so that is the best way that you can kind of get to a level 7 or at least a 6.